Whoa, 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 whoa. Free universal high quality childcare and free college? All right, so welcome back to another episode with the Unspecialist. We have again another article review, this time from the now defunct American website, feministing.com. And it's by our author, Sijal Singh, and her title is It's Long Past Time to Make Childcare Central to the Progressive Agenda. I'm sure she may have some strong points in this article. She looks like she's quite serious about what she does from her profile picture. So let's get into it. And I read, many millennials plan to have fewer children than they want. Nearly 2 out of 3 say it's because childcare is so prohibitively expensive that they simply can't afford the families they'd like to have, according to a new poll. It's a disturbing but unsurprising figure. Childcare costs have skyrocketed by 168% in the last 25 years. Full-time daycare costs an average of $9,589 a year, according to the Care Index. In urban areas, it can even be worse. Parents in Washington, D.C. pay an astronomical average of $35,782 per year. That's $2,982 a month for childcare. If you worked full-time at DC's $12.50 minimum wage, you'd only make $26,000. In at least 15 states, full-time childcare typically costs more than 90% of the average cost of rent. So up to this point, we can see and say for sure that she's doing a really good job of painting a bleak situation for childcare in the United States, especially in Washington, D.C. So yeah, she's doing a really good job of presenting or setting the stage and hopefully setting up for whatever the solution is. So let's continue. Say you want to have 3 children and you still want or need to work. You could easily be looking at upwards of $100,000 in childcare alone before those 3 kids start kindergarten. That's $100,000 that most millennial families just don't have. Yeah, reinforcing the point, setting the stage again. Now, that first sentence is really interesting. She said, and you still want or need to work. Those two conditions definitely aren't the same thing. Wanting to work is definitely a choice. Like, hey, I want to work, I have the option and I'm choosing to work, and need to work is I don't have a choice. So it might be a bit dangerous to conflate the two, but let's see if she expands on that later on. Astronomical childcare costs have a predictable gendered impact. Oh boy. Let me fix and ensure that I have my gendered lenses on. Yeah, I don't have any progressives, but understand once you have a gendered lens, it's a progressive lens anyway. Those who get the joke get the joke. Nearly 70% of parents say the cost of childcare has affected their career decisions. Some parents, mostly mothers, are forced to leave the workforce because they simply can't afford $100,000 in childcare bills. Women are more likely to stay at home with lasting costs for earning potential. The average American woman who takes a 5-year break from her career in her mid-20s will lose out on $467 over her lifetime in the form of income, wage growth, and retirement benefits. American women are thus forced to choose among bankrupting themselves to pay for childcare, foregoing a massive amount of income over their lifetimes, or giving up on having more kids. Yeah, I mean, again, you're seeing a situation here is presented. You're not making a lot of money. That's a millennial problem, as we can clearly see. Rent is expensive. Minimum wage isn't enough to afford childcare, although I don't think you should be looking for childcare at making minimum wage. But hey, I mean, I guess even minimum wage, you should expect the world. And then also, you see that, okay, so salaries aren't enough, but childcare is expensive. But wouldn't you have to pay those childcare workers? And wouldn't those childcare workers also be saying, hey, we're not getting paid enough? So the childcare worker, it's probably going to also be having some sort of difficulties. And I mean, if we're looking at the title of the website, the whole movement was to fight for the right to work, right? So now you're working and you're in this situation. You have to make the best of it. You laid your bed, you made your bed. Now it's time to lie in it. But we see the situation here. Let's listen to her profound solution for the current conundrum. This is a crisis with an obvious solution: universal, free, high quality childcare. So, salary is low, childcare expensive, high chance of losing out on a lot of income over the course of her lifetime. And the solution is universal, free, high quality childcare. Sounds a bit socialist to me. Now, hey, I know we're gonna get a lot of persons arguing and say, hey, it's not evil, it's good. But who's paying for this? It's not directly coming out of her pocket or the pocket of the individuals in this situation. This gotta come out of somebody's pocket, right? That's taxpayer money. So basically what this is saying is, let's redistribute the cost of a problem that has been in many ways artificially created by distributing the cost to everybody. So for all of those who don't have children, who are not going through this issue or have found a way to work around it, you have to pay for this situation right here. That's a bit, I guess, unfortunate for you. But if you'd like to shoulder the burden, please let me know. Let's continue. Universal childcare would allow women to remain in the workforce if they want it. Again, having your cake and eating it too. You want it to work, but you also want to have children. 3 children at that. The numbers clearly show it's not working, but you want to do it anyway. So the solution is have the government, or basically everybody else, pay for it. That sounds a bit selfish to me. Hey, let's see the argument to support it. It would be better for the economy. It would. Well, there's an article linked, so okay, fine. It would be better for the economy. Although for some strange reason, I'm assuming that the argument for it being better for the economy would be that more intelligent children would translate to more intelligent and more productive adults, which is better for the economy in the long run. I'm not sure if this short-term benefit, but you know what? I'm going to check it, and I'm going to probably put a graphic to see if exactly how it works somewhere in the video.
Hold up. Wait a minute.
So I followed the link to find out how our profound solution was actually better for the economy. It led me to a policy proposal which essentially laid out 2 benefits. I'm going to condense as best as I can. So essentially, there are 5 million student parents and waiting lists for campus-based childcare alone. The majority of those student parents are below the federal poverty line, 90% of them in fact, and only 30% of them will complete a degree or credential within 6 years. So they're hoping that giving those students the financial assistance and childcare would raise their level of educational attainment by reducing the burden and produce public and private benefits, which include lower government dependency, increased earnings potential, and higher tax contributions. It's always tax contributions. Anyways, and the second one was what I outlined earlier, which is better childcare and early childcare education, etc. for the children would mean better outcomes for them, which is better for the economy. Not surprising. I wonder why it was so predictable. Anyways, let's continue. And it has obvious benefits for kids too. Statewide universal pre-K in Oklahoma had a lasting effect on students' performance. 7th grade students who had enrolled in Tulsa's preschool programs of young children had higher GPAs and were more likely to enroll in honors classes. They were also significantly less likely to be held back a grade. Children who attend pre-K are also less likely to be pushed into the criminal legal system. That's good. Without universal childcare, these benefits accrue only to kids whose parents can afford it and the lucky few working class kids selected by lottery for small, free pre-K programs. This is basically a suggestion to change the current situation in society, making pre-K available to everybody But in my opinion, you made your decisions, you made your choices. Like I said, you make your bed, you lie in it. And what's really interesting here is the position of the argument in relation to those who have these benefits and those who don't. But I would also add to those parents who can afford it, parents who basically planned their children and decided, okay, this is our economic situation. We realize we could only have one child or two. Maybe some parents, wealthier parents realize they can have three. That's basically accepting your circumstances and acting accordingly. I find it a bit childish to say that I want three children, I should be able to have them. And in the process of me doing that, taxpayers should then pay for the care of my three children. And I mean, these are the decisions that you made. If you want to work, you won't necessarily be able to have all of this. You basically fought for the society to be the way it is now, in some manner of speaking. And now that there's other problems created by that, you're like, hey, let's add another program or institution to help pay for, or to pay to solve this problem. Again, it sounds a bit selfish to me. Let's continue. Critics argue that the benefits are only tied to high quality programs, which, well, duh. But we can scale up universal pre-K without losing quality. Okay then. New York's universal pre-K program put tens of thousands of kids in top-tier pre-K programs in just 2 years. The city is now rolling out an ambitious 3K for all program to match. Wow, New York spending a hell of a lot of money. Interesting. Or it could be also that New York isn't having that many children, but I'm not gonna take the time to get into all the statistics. We're gonna give her the benefit of the doubt on this one. Today, supporting free college is rightly a prerequisite for the progressive wing of the Democratic Party. Whoa, 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 whoa. Free, universal, high quality childcare and free college? All right, this agenda starting to sound a bit self-serving to me. I mean, not to say that the political agenda shouldn't be self-serving, but how millennial is it to ask for free college, given the amount of college debt and how common that is, and then how millennial and girl power it is to ask for free universal childcare. That's really interesting, man. Let's continue. That's great news for everyone. Access to higher education should be a right, not a privilege for the wealthy. No, I mean, there's a lot of not wealthy people getting education right now, but I'm assuming they don't want to have or be saddled with the burden of college debt. So they're saying it should be a right, not a privilege for the wealthy. But again, who's paying for this? The taxpayers are paying for this. Man, listen, taxpayers, if you like this situation, I say, vote for it, go for it. If you don't, but as far as I'm concerned, just looking at this face value, this is a lot of money coming out of the taxpayers' pocket to pay for these things. And I doubt the taxpayers are gonna have a say in what degrees are pursued and failure rates and that kind of stuff. But let's continue. She's putting forward a forceful argument, if nothing else. But in 33 states and DC, infant care now costs more than in-state college tuition. It's striking that the crushing cost of childcare and its gendered impact isn't getting the same attention. I and others suspect that's because caregiving is still too often considered women's work, invisibilized. Should check up the definition of that word. I mean, the definition is implied, but it sounds interesting as a word, invisibilized, and therefore devalued. We saw that in the last episode as it relates to women's work in relation to the farm. I'm going to examine this, but let me finish the paragraph. It's time for that to change. Universal pre-K would help fight educational inequality. enable women to work, and alleviate the crushing financial burden suffocating the millennial middle class. A lot of different groups are intersecting right here. But let's break down this paragraph. This paragraph was quite telling, in my opinion, because you see, it says here, it's striking that the crushing cost of childcare and its gender impact. And then we go again, it says, caregiving is still too often considered women's work. But if you're gonna be paying a childcare worker to enable you to work, who is that childcare worker gonna be? Is it gonna be a man? Are you gonna trust a man with your infant or toddler? I don't think so. And even then, the childcare worker would then be in a position to say, hey, given the economy and I also have expenses, demand higher wages. At some point in time, somebody's demands have to be either ignored or foregone for a more pressing matter. There's only so much taxpayer dollars to go wrong unless you want to tax more people or increase the tax. I mean, if that's what you want. But then again, let's look, it's invisibilized and therefore devalued. But by virtue of you desiring childcare to do this, you kind of put in value on it. But then again, if you want to work, I'm sure you're not going to want to pay too much for childcare. So wouldn't that be you devaluing the childcare work? You see, so it's not adding up. I'm trying to do the math. It's not working out. But then again, you could do the childcare yourself. But again, you said it's invisibilized and therefore devalued. So I guess you don't want to do it. You want to work. Man, this is tough. This is tough. I wonder how it is to live a life where you're trying to grab at everything and fit it all in your hand. Kind of like the dog and the bone story. The dog has the bone, looking at the reflection, sees the other bone, tries to bite it and loses everything. This seems to be the plight of many women in today's society. I hope you guys can figure it out and there's some solutions for it. But apparently, one of the solutions is universal, free, high quality childcare and free college. Okay. But, again, I'll always leave it up to you guys to decide what's the most productive solution. Make suggestions. What do you think about what she's saying? She closes off by saying it's time for universal childcare to be a central part of the left agenda, just as central to the campaign for free college. Sounds nice. I must say, it definitely sounds nice. Paints a bright picture of the future of those children and the ability of women to work. But I see some almost paradoxical situations in between there, things that I don't think can happen at the same time. Because if you want affordable childcare, the cost is going to have to be reduced somehow. If the government subsidizes it, the money comes from the citizens. If you try to reduce the money you pay to the childcare workers, then that would be devaluing the same work, which is more likely than not to be done by women that you're complaining about. And then if you do it yourself, you're going to be shooting your agenda in the foot because you're not going to be able to work. Man, this is a lot of mental gymnastics, and my cap is hurting, so I'm going to call it a night today, fellas and ladies, and whoever's watching. Thanks for tuning in again. If you like the video, just hit the like button, hit the hands. It doesn't matter if you dislike, because, this is a sensitive topic and I could understand. So anyways, thanks again for viewing. This is the Unspecialist saying thanks for viewing another episode. Peace.